because I was witness to something. Some of you are witnessing something for the first time, becoming aware of what's going on in this country. And seeing the price of good intentions or the harm and the hurt of false narratives. Be they about pro-marriage and the defending of marriage between a man and a woman, or about life and the protection of the child. And the goal is to silence you. It's to silence me. Which makes Ted Cruz's comment all the more interesting. Not about R's or D's, but certainly a very interesting comment. It's cut number 2. And here's what Ted Cruz said. He was being asked about Rand Paul's statement regarding life and marriage and the Republican Party. Here's Ted Cruz. Roll it.
I am a conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative. I'm a social conservative. I think we've seen that in order for the Republican Party to succeed, we need to be a big tent. We need to embrace American values that have been present in our country, have been present in every small town, every small business, every family for centuries. There are some who say the Republican Party should no longer stand for life. I don't agree with them. There are some who say the Republican Party should no longer stand for traditional marriage. I don't agree with them either. I think we should continue to defend our shared values.
So it sounds like you disagree then with Senator Paul.
I'll let him characterize his views. What I can tell you is my views are that we should continue to defend life and we should continue to defend traditional marriage.
And again, not going to what Rand Paul said, that for another day. I want to go to what he said and what it means. Not as a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. As someone who is standing up for what they believe in and not going silent and recognizing that we have a culture today. We also have a huge problem. We have a problem with the truth, because even when we have our leaders, our legislators come to town hall meetings and discussions, and they give answers regarding, well, let's just say, they give answers to questions about the debt and the $17 trillion debt that we are in and the intergenerational theft that we are experiencing. I mean, we've got some real big problems, don't we? Yeah. Claire McCaskill, Senator Claire McCaskill, answering the questions about and commenting on the debt, had this statement, and it's cut number 9. I'm going to break this down because there's a lot of things that she says here, with all due respect to Senator McCaskill, that are just, you need the rest of the story. Roll it. Okay, now a couple things here. She pointed to the cost curve real quick. 77% of the reason of cost trending downward is the economy. The other part to that is healthcare savings accounts. The other programs she pointed to, one, the ACO, was in the long term, it's going to drive up costs because it eliminates competition. There's and it is shown to do that. She mentioned the minimum wage. Minimum wage kills jobs. When we talk about CEOs who are asked about the minimum wage, 80% spoke to the idea that they would, or excuse me, 80% of the 30% who pay minimum wage, okay? 30% of the 500 CEOs that were asked about the minimum wage, 80% of them said they would cut jobs. And by the way, I think I'm being soft on that statistic because it actually is higher. It just spoke to the idea that it would either freeze hiring or start cutting jobs. It is known as a job killer, yet this is the idea. It's the idea that sounds nice, but why doesn't it translate to the fact that, wait a second, minimum wage, you're advocating for a higher minimum wage, that means you're forcing people to pay more with a federal government making that decision for business owners. That's something, and it'll lead to people having less opportunity. Now, the statistics are out on that. It's done. Now, you can highlight a company that says, yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay, that's great. You're not being forced to do it. You can do it. That's what freedom's all about. See how your business plan works. See how your prices are impacted. See how your labor force is impacted. I get the idea that you're going to cut back. Basically, you're looking at a business model that you've just increased the cost on labor. At the beginning, 2/3 of people earning a minimum wage in the first year get a raise. I mean, there's so much. The people earning it, 16 to 25, $50,000 a year or more, are part of those households. It's not. It's augmenting the income. It's not the primary. There's many different ways, but it gets down to the government telling you what you need to pay somebody else, and the statistics and the people who are job creators, those people putting themselves on the line. They're getting hammered by it. And the person that gets hammered is the person who never gets the job. And yet, hey, politically, it sounds great because nobody wants to be accused of not being compassionate. Well, number one, if you know better, it's not compassionate. It's anything but. And if you know better and you continue to do something that you realize is going to result and harming the very people that you want to help, well, that's just stupid. And that's the best thing I can say about it. Told you the austerity programs. Well, there's a number of papers on this, but I'm telling you right now, if you look at the countries that actually cut taxes and spending, they actually stimulated economic growth. The countries that did not, well, they got less of it and they got less job growth. And when she speaks to jobs and the stimulus working, it's a ridiculous statement. Look at our labor force and look at the job market, and we look at about, I'll put it gently, 8.8% currently. We're never supposed to go above 8%, by the way. We did. We have nearly half the growth that we've had in previous recessions monthly, or quarterly, pardon me. So how can you attribute that to big government spending? They always forget where the money comes from first. It's you, it's me, it's the producers, it's our children. These are very basic things. So when I speak to you as an individual, I want you to know something. Don't look at me and say, oh, Crane, you're just coming from this point of view. I want to speak to you as an individual that understands that you are created, you have been given gifts, and you've been blessed with those gifts, and I want you to have the freedom to use those gifts and not penalize you for it. Crane Durham's nothing but truth. We'll see you next time. AFR Talk.